Hello everyone and welcome to Samuel's Racing Show. Yes, we are back for a second episode of 2024. Even though there's not a whole lot of racing to talk about, not entirely true. There's some off-season news going on, and also we're going to talk about Supercross again because that has been quite entertaining so far this year. First off, the 24 Hours of Daytona was last weekend, the start of the IMSA Championship, the Rolex 24. I think I already said that. Off to a great start. I'm off to a great start. They were off to a great finish, weren't they? Yeah, that was kind of weird, honestly. I mean, I'm assuming people interested in the Rolex 24 saw what happened. That the race the commentators didn't really know, that the race winners didn't even know that the race was finishing. I think it would have kind of been handy if NBC had one of those countdown clocks, like in the top left corner of a screen, saying not how many laps left, but how much time there was left. I can't really go into it too much. I can't really go into sports cars too much because I don't really follow it as much as I used to. But what I will say is that Ferrari won in GTD Pro. So after a great start this year, Ferrari fans, let's keep this momentum up into Formula One. Talking about Formula One teams, two controversies over teams right now. First off today, it was announced that Andretti's bid to compete in Formula One had been rejected. I've got to be honest, this is also not a story I've been following too closely, but from what it sounded like, they were saying that this team wasn't showing enough proof that they could be competitive. Well, isn't that what you have a 107% rule for? Remember in like 2012, I think it was, no, 2010, that there were those three new teams that came in, wasn't there? There was Caterham, there was Virgin, which became Marussia, and there was HRT. And I think HRT was outside the 107% rule a few times. But, you know, races were ran with 24 cars without too much incident. So it would be nice to see a fuller field again. And it's disappointing to not see Andretti on the grid. And the other disappointing thing that's kind of, the other disappointing or controversial or thing that people are talking about negatively in Formula One right now is all the lengthy team names that a couple of the teams have. And I'm not going to read them off because I didn't write them down and they're very long and stupid. I'm just going to go by Red Bull or what's AlphaTauri now? I do a lot of research for these shows, don't I? But you know what? Wasn't there that whole thing a year ago where we all thought we were going to have to call Lewis Hamilton by his last name and his mother's last name as well, and then we just kind of went with Hamilton still? So I'm hoping the commentators and the broadcasters figure out something there to do with the F1 teams as well. All right, let's get into the stuff that's on track, because that's the stuff I actually pay attention to. And that is Monster Energy Supercross, 4 rounds into the season. I think when I did the first episode, we were only 1 round into the season. So let's talk about what's happened since then. A lot of rain and a lot of mud. 2 mudders at round 2, San Francisco, and round 3, San Diego. And 4 different winners in 450, 4 different winners in 250 West so far. So there's been a lot of parity, close championship battles, and some exciting racing action. And some storylines, especially in 450, where Jett Lawrence, dominating motocross last season, won the Super Motocross World Championship, came into 2024 and wins A1. Think he'd be unstoppable? Okay, he had a couple of bad mud races. The second one wasn't too bad. I think he got like 4th. It's like, okay, we go back to Anaheim for Anaheim 2, and I pick him as my number 1 pick in the RM Fantasy SX picks. And that didn't work out too well because he kept crashing. So don't really know what's going up with Jett Lawrence, but so far we've had Jett, we've had Trace Sexton, Aaron Plessinger and Cooper Webb win the opening 4 races of the season. So 2 races won by Red Bull KTM, who seem to be strongly consistent. I mean, Plessinger's got the red plate, which I definitely did not anticipate after the opening 4 rounds. And let's not forget that we're going to Detroit this weekend, which I think is the place where he crashed with 2 laps left to go and lost the win last season. So, you know, maybe things are married up for Plessinger here. Maybe he'll be able to continue to have that red plate going forward. I was impressed with Eli Tomac. I don't think I'm the only person to say that this week. He's performing stronger than I thought he would. You know, when you see, especially in such a dangerous sport, when you see a rider, you know, get a family, get a bit older, a bit more sensible, and he has an injury that put him out for, away from riding for a little while. Is he still going to come back with that championship talent that he had the last season? And possibly. I did not think he would be back up to speed as strong as he has been. So, let's see. We've had 4 different winners in the first 4 races. Could Tomac be the 5th? Well, you've also got Anderson, you've also got Roxon. And again, it's so nice to see that a couple of mud races means we're 5 races into the season. No, knock on wood, no major injuries so far, except for Adam, C and Cirillo, and, a couple other riders who are probably escaping me right now. 250 West, again, 4 different winners in the first 4 races. RJ Hampshire, Jordan Smith, Nate Thrasher, and I was very excited to see Nate Thrasher do well. And Garrett Marchbank's also doing well in that race behind him in second. And then Levi Kitchen. And I really like the last names of the drivers in 250. You got Thrasher, you got Kitchen. I don't know, that you just some unique names there I kind of enjoy. Now we go to Detroit for this week's Supercross race. And the 250 East riders are going to be out there. Hayden Deegan, I think, is going to be riding a little bit injured. A couple other big names. There are 8 Supercross Futures riders from last season, I've been told, that are going to be competing in 250. So lots of new names. Lots of work for me to do on the Supercross website and get those rider pages up there and populated. So who knows what to expect in that race this weekend, and that's great. It's going to keep us watching. Although on a personal note, I will not be watching live this weekend because I am going to be doing camera work at Freedom Factory down the road here in outside of Bradenton, Florida. But on Sunday, I will be competing in the Classic Team Championship on iRacing again, the race in the Lotus 79s at Austria, the A1 Rin. I had a really good race last week at Detroit. I'm currently 7th in the Formula 1 standings on broadcast there on GSRC on Sunday morning. It's going to be a bit of an earlier broadcast this Sunday. I didn't think I was going to be at the Red Bull Ring this weekend because I thought I had a commitment, but that's fallen through. So here we go. We're going to go racing at the Red Bull Ring and see how that goes. So if you want to see me try and do what I enjoy talking about, check it out on GSRC Sunday morning. Check Supercross out this weekend, and then of course also there's the NASCAR Cup Series getting back underway this weekend with their shootout to kick off the season at the LA Coliseum. Not my favourite track, but that's okay. We got the Daytona 500 coming up. That'll be more fun, as long as it's only 500 miles. I am one of those sticklers for that. All right, well, enjoy all the racing this weekend and see you all around.